Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Today we're going to look at two North American bands. So if you've been following our Facebook page, you kind of see the pattern of which shows I'm going to do. Because so far, early on in the history of the show, and you guys seem to like this format, so I'm going to keep doing them. I'm basically following the polls that I've been putting up on the Facebook page. But I'm going to start mixing that up real soon. So hopefully every day or every other day you guys will be surprised by some of the choices that I do. Right now for the first 2 weeks or so of this show, I'm going to be doing mostly prog, classic prog album battles. These are going to be a mix of older bands from the 70s and those great albums, as well as some from more recent times. So you might see some things like Dream Theater, Spock's Beard, Symphony X, Echoland, Flower Kings, all that kind of stuff pop up. So kind of stay tuned. A lot of good things coming. So, and what I'm doing is I may not always pick the most famous album by each band, but I'm going to pick ones that are pretty notable and that, the general consensus is these are very strong albums by them, okay? So they may not be the cream of the crop, and in some instances they might be, but it's going to be upper echelon releases, okay? So today we're going to, like I said, we're going to look at two North American bands. The first one, Canada's Rush, with their sci-fi concept 2112, not a full concept album, concept suite, right? One full side, 2112 title track is a full-blown sci-fi concept piece. Then you got a bunch of other tunes, and then you've got, that's their fourth studio release, and then you got from 1975, Kansas, their second album, Song for America. Okay, so two great albums. I love them both. In almost every instance of these shows, I'm going to pick two albums that I really like a lot, but I'm going to be forced to choose one over the other. Okay, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. Okay, so let's talk about both albums a little bit. So let's start with the one that came first, right? So here we go, 1975, Kansas's second album. Okay, of course you know they're a American progressive rock band from the Midwest here in the good old U.S. of A. Band is big time influenced by acts like Gentle Giant, Yes, and Genesis, of course. Classic British prog bands. So here we've got a nice mix of styles. They had a stupendous debut, followed up with an arguably even better second album. Got a mix of real nice symphonic prog on here, as well as bluesy hard rock. So, down the road, a good kind of gritty, almost southern rocker type of a tune, right? With a lot of great guitar work and vocals. Then we got the classic title track, Song for America, one of the band's best songs, a prog rock gem. Okay, all the great things going. The great keyboards, the synths, the Moog synthesizers, the Hammonds. You got great Steve Walsh vocals. You got Robbie Steinhardt's excellent violin. All the great guitar layers, from Rich Williams, okay, as well as Kerry Livgren, Phil Ehart on drums, Dave Hope on bass. Great band. Lamplight Symphony. Lamplight Symphony is a great song. Another really good example of the kind of symphonic, classic, progressive rock sound that Kansas brought to the table. Lonely Street, kind of a very kind of passionate, somewhat bluesy, somewhat proggy number. The Devil Game, another rip-roaring hard rocker from the band. These guys were, at their core, a very, very, very good hard rock band. Then, of course, closing it all out, the classic Incomudro Hymn to the Atman, which, another little mini epic from the band to close out this album, where they say, hey, you know what? We're going to play in the whole prog rock sweepstakes, guys. So a fantastic album, really not a weak track on it, okay? Not a weak track on it. And the guys will come back and do, go even more epic with, Mask and Left Overture and Point of No Return, but it kind of, they're the band's first. So you got the first album, this album, Masks, Left Overture, Song for America, and I'd throw Monolith in there. Pretty stupendous way to start your career there, right? And then come back with this one, all right? So Rush, 2112. Again, Rush started out as a pretty heavy kind of metallic blues rock band at the beginning, sort of. Really good hard rock band. Say hi to Tala. She's hanging out. I wonder who she likes better. And then kind of all of a sudden, when Neil Peart joined the band as drummer, the big writer, okay, really into sci-fi and fantasy and all that kind of stuff, they started to inject a lot of these lyrical themes, okay, very in-depth, very, full-blown concept ideas. And the band also were fans of Yes and the prog band. So they started to inject a lot of prog into their real heavy sound. And I think, Fly By Night, Caress of Steel, you started to see a lot of that, but I think it really kind of came to the forefront here. So you got, first of all, the big sidelong suite 2112 was just incredible. All right, amazing, amazing. And then, and that includes, you know, all sorts of great themes and things like that. It's just a really, really interesting piece of work that's heavy, it's light. It's got blistering guitar solos, it's got moments of atmosphere, you got a lot of different movements that happen within it. Awesome songwriting right there, a great, great song. And then over on side 2, you've got more of the song-based stuff. So you've got Passage to Bangkok, which I always really dug. Great riff in that song, right? Alex Lifeson, the creator of so many great riffs. Great tune. Twilight Zone, more of a moody track. I dig that as well. Lessons, I like Lessons. Not one of the best songs on the album. Tears, also pretty cool, again. But they saved the best for last, Something for Nothing, which is a barreling, heavy rock tune at Rush at their rampaging best. So again, a lot of, you know, as far as musicianship goes, classic stuff. You know, Geddy Lee by this point in time, I'll go on record saying Geddy Lee, for my money, was one of the best bass players of the 70s and 80s in the rock genre. Okay, kind of throw him in there with Chris Squire. Both guys, and of course Chris was Geddy's idol. Both guys, so talented. And I think Geddy's playing on this and all those other Rush albums to follow, just tremendous. I always liked his vocals. You know, some people, it's a love or hate thing, those high-pitched vocals. I always dug him. I think he's great on this album. Alex's guitar work is spectacular. Neil's drumming is great. This is a classic album. Here, like I said, I mentioned all the players before. Killer guitar work, lots of great keyboards, the violin, the vocals, the great harmonies and melodies. You know, very equal albums in my opinion. But of course I got to pick one. Okay? I think on the whole, there are parts of this album where I enjoy a little bit more. But I think top to bottom, I'm going to give the win to Kansas. Because I just think it's a stronger album all the way through. And, you know, as far as, you know, there's a couple of mini epics on here. So the title track and Lamplight Symphony and Incomudro Into the Atman are all like epic composition for Kansas, right? They really work, and then you throw in a couple of hard rockers and what have you. Here you get the mammoth epic title track, a couple other really good hard rockers, and a couple kind of like tunes that are good, but not like prime Rush. So I'm going to give the edge ever so slightly, and if you saw my vote on the Facebook page, you already know this. I'm going to give the edge ever so slightly to Song for America. Again, it's just by a hair because I love both of these albums. These are both drop-dead classics, okay? And you can say what you want. You know, I think overall, I love both of these bands to death. Probably like Rush a little bit more, just a little bit, but I love them both. These are easily top-shelf bands, in my opinion, and among my favorites. So, you know, depends on what you like. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, no way Kansas beats Rush. This is a great album, but this is a you know, mind-blowingly great album. They're both great, okay? So your mileage may vary. So today, it's, again, down to the scorecards, guys, all right? I think it's another split decision. We're going to go 115, 113 today. The winner and new classic album champion, Kansas, Song for America. You may disagree, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong here, guys. All right, everybody likes what they like. Like I said, I love them both, but I'm tipping the scales ever so slightly here. So let us hear which one you like better and why. Again, no one's wrong, so I'm interested to read what some of you guys think. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in favor of this, and that's totally cool because I love this album too. It's great. But I think this is fun, just kind of talking about these really great albums that are very equally matched. Forcing me to make a choice, and forcing you to make a choice as well. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course we're in the mighty YouTube. More of these battles coming up. Lots of good stuff coming up this weekend in the next couple days, so stay tuned. We've got a top 10 songs coming real soon. Ted Nugent. I'm getting together with Steve Keeler next week for all sorts of top 10 songs. We got a What If coming up with George and Craig Seibert. We've also got a rant coming up with those two guys tonight. We're doing that tonight, taping both of those, so that'll be live tomorrow. A lot of great content. There's no end in sight here on Sea of Tranquility, so we'll see you real soon. Don't touch that dial. Bye-bye.